The mind is always telling a story. So what happens is you wake up in the morning, and what gets turned on instantly is this awakeness, is this presence, is this knowing of the world. And there's still nobody there, there's just awakeness, knowing itself. It knows the room, it knows the sounds, not as a thought, not as an idea or concept, but just as it is, just knows it. Alive and present radically, and there's total freedom there. And then the mind comes in and goes, hello, Robert, what are we doing today? What's on schedule? And then Robert thinks about himself and says, oh yes, I've got to go to work. And then he imagines himself going to work. I have to walk the dog, imagines himself doing that. I have to do this, I have to do that. Imagines his house, imagines his room, his world. And then there's this Robert suddenly, this imagination, but that's all happening inside the brain. It's an imagination. That's not who's actually experiencing it. It's being experienced. So if I got a hammer and I walloped you over the head and you completely forgot all about your life prior to this moment, who would you be? If you couldn't remember yourself, who would you be? You'd be this awake presence experiencing itself, which that awake presence isn't separate from everything that's appearing. It is all things that are appearing. Dun dun dun! Boop boop! Boop boop! Boop boop! And one for luck. Boop boop! The mind goes, let me think about this a little bit more. So what she's telling me is that I don't exist. And notice when you're thinking about this subject that there's something watching that. That the thinking has its point, it has its purpose, it settles down the mind, things are understood, there's a resonance that can somehow happen after periods of thinking about it. But what's being talked about, what's being pointed to is beyond that one that can comprehend it. So right now I'm speaking. I have to look at my background to see what is in my background. And you can see this wonderful eclectic kitchen. You can see it's the opposite way around in my video on the screen. You can see the what's that? Coffee thing. You can see the hobs. You can see the cooker. You can see equipment, cooking equipment. You can see vegetables, and a tray and a cord and a fridge and a worktop and tiles. You can see all these things, and then you're focusing on me, and you're maybe thinking about me, and you're like, oh, what type of earrings are those she's wearing today? Can't say I like those very much. So you're having a little thought about me, or you're enjoying what I say, but the whole time there is a knowing of the background. Even though you're not thinking about it, there is a knowing of it. Just like there's a knowing of you that's thinking about me, there's a knowing of all your thoughts, and there's a knowing of my face, everything. But your knowing and your thoughts about yourself have become one and the same thing, and then you believe, I am a conscious thinker and a conscious being, where you're not. You're that awake presence that's not a thing and all things. Isn't that wonderful? It is nothing. Nothing. Not a thing. Not a thing. And everything. Isn't that extraordinary? Extraordinary. It's mind-blowing. Like, you could have brain farts. That all of this is being perceived, and it doesn't involve you or me. You and me are an experience happening in this knowing, and that's who you are. And that knowing is creating, and it's not consciously creating, it is creating spontaneously. And when I mean consciously creating, it's not sitting there in the background like, let me just get my typewriter out and think about this story. Oh yes, next, Lisa is going to raise her hand. Bing! And then it's spontaneously creating right here, right now, in this moment. It appears through cause and effect. So there seems to be a story where Lisa did all these things and then is at this moment and she's going to go on into the future. But that is just our current reality that we're experiencing through humanity. It doesn't mean it's the way reality is. It's humans' linear experience of reality. It's the 3 dimensions. 3rd dimension. But it doesn't mean that it's real. It is not real. It's an experience happening. Just like the characters in experience happening. But what is real? What's there beyond birth and death? Birth and death is a story that happens in this. What is real beyond that? And that is this awakeness. The awakeness never goes. You are awake. You had this awakeness when you were 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12, 18, 14, 12, 14, 16, 18, 20. Woohoo! I can do my 2 times table. But that's not who you are. The person that can perceive this, the person that can understand me, the person that's listening to me, it's not who you are. You are not a thing. Not a thing, which is all things. Which is really majestic. And you don't know it, so you, the one that thinks it's understanding me, that might be giving you mind orgasms at points, understanding this. But all of that's being experienced. Your essence doesn't understand or know me, it just is. And then at points, the person moves out of the way and there's a resonance with that. There's something waking up that seems to have been dormant, but it's always been there, but it's been hidden and contracted and hiding in the best place ever inside this illusory you. So that might begin to resonate with that, or maybe it's already resonated. Maybe you're sitting there and you're like, ting, 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 yeah, 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 yeah. That's so free. But it doesn't experience anything. So your essence doesn't have any desire, doesn't have any want, doesn't have any feelings. It experiences all of that. All of that is like clouds coming in and out of the blue sky. It's not like a fixed thing. They're constantly muting and transforming and changing. The same with human life as well. Like they're like clouds, like we pop up and we think that it's a really long time that we're here, but actually we're just a form that's appearing, and then eventually it goes back into itself and transforms like a kaleidoscope into something else, which is stunning.